Hi sim racers! Welcome to our video guide for adjusting your Alien sim racing pedal set. My name is Adolf, I'm the head of design and I will walk you through all of the adjustment options on our pedals. Thank you for your support and enjoy the video. So, we have three different design options: the bedroom style, the gaming style and the racing style. Functionally they're all the same, so all of the adjustment options will work on your set regardless of the style. So first of all, let's take a look at the adjustments that are the same for throttle, brake and the clutch. I'm talking about the initial tilt of the pedal and the pedal face height. Let's start with the pedal face height. Step 1 is to loosen the face screws on the pedal face, just a little bit. After that, loosen the 4 bolts that hold the pedal face holder. When that's done, you're free to move the pedal face up and down. Move it to your desired position and then tighten those 4 bolts again. To finish the procedure, tighten the 2 bolts on the pedal face itself. And that's how easy it is to set up your pedal face height. Now let's take a look at the initial tilt of the pedal. Right, so how to change the tilt? Well, that's easy. You simply loosen the 2 bolts that are in the groove right here. And now you should be able to move the pedal up and down freely. So you simply set it into your desired position and tighten the bolts. And that's how easy it is to change the initial tilt of the pedal. Keep in mind that the tilt setting and the pedal face height settings are common for the 3 pedals, so the throttle pedal and the clutch pedal will adjust the same way. Now the main thing about the brake is of course the stiffness. We can change that feeling by changing the preload in the spring, by changing the spring itself, or by changing the polyurethane blocks. So changing the preload is pretty simple. We have the knurled nut here, so just by tightening it, turning it clockwise, we increase the preload, so the initial force is bigger, or we loosen it by loosening the nut, which releases the tension. And now it's a little bit softer. When you've set your preload the way you want, you also have to tighten this nut right here so it doesn't become loose over time. Now to change the spring or the polyurethane blocks, you first of all need to kill all of the tension in the spring. And you do that by simply moving the knurled nut all the way down there. So we first need to loosen the nut here and screw it all the way there. And then we can unscrew the knurled nut. Now the pedal is pretty much free to move. Next step is to remove the lower bump stop. So you take your wrench and your hex key and you loosen the screw. Now this screw you have to remove it. So we unscrew the nut all the way so we can remove the screw. When the screw is removed, you can lift the axis out of its place and work on your setup right here. So you can put in another spring, or you can change the individual polyurethane blocks as well. So then you just put it all together again, close it with the bushing right here, and assemble the pedal again. Now you pretty much redo all the things you have undid. So now you just put the bolt back in and screw on the nut. Tighten the entire thing again. You don't have to use much force because the nut just needs to sit against the steel plate. So after you've done that, you simply put some preload back in the spring by twisting the knurled nut away from the joint and securing it with the counter nut. Just a tiny bit, yeah, just like that. And that's it. Now your brake is adjusted and ready to use. So now the brake is done, we can take a look at the throttle pedal and its adjustments. On the throttle pedal, we can change the preload in the spring itself for a stiffer one, or we can move the entire axis to a stiffer position up the pedal. We can also change the pedal face and add a side support. To change the preload in the spring, we have to first of all loosen the counter nut on the knurled nut. After that, we can change the preload by twisting the knurled nut either away or towards the pedal to increase or decrease the tension. After setting the pre-tension, we can tighten the counter nut again so it doesn't unwind on its own. Now if we want a really stiff feeling pedal, we can swap in a stiffer spring like that, which we will show you how to do on the clutch pedal. The procedure is the same. Or we can move the entire axis up to this stiffer position. And we do that by first of all killing the tension in the spring. So we loosen the counter nut again, we twist it really far away from the spring, and then by twisting the knurled nut towards the pedal, we kill all of the pre-tension. So now the spring is free to move. When that's done, we loosen the nut and the bolt right here and unscrew the nut all the way. Now you can remove the bolt, take the axis up to the stiffer position, stick the bolt through again, screw on the nut, and tighten the entire thing. Now you can set the initial feeling again by adjusting the pre-tension. So we just wind on the knurled nut again and secure that with the counter nut. And that's done. Now the pedal is really stiff feeling. We ship the throttle pedal with additional side support for your feet. To install the side support, you first of all need to loosen the screws holding the pedal face, just a little bit, and remove the bolts on the right side of the throttle pedal. Now you take the side support, put it in place, and reinstall the screws in their respective position. And just like that, you've added your side support. Now sometimes when you downshift using a heel and toe technique, you might want to use the longer pedal face that's included in the box. You do that by first of all removing the shorter pedal face, of course. So we do that by just simply unscrewing the two bolts that hold it. Now you might have noticed that there is an additional screw down here that's exactly for the longer pedal face. So we remove that and initially secure the longer pedal face to the pedal using that lower hole. Now you see that the holes right here do not exactly line up with the pedal. So we need to loosen the 4 side screws on the pedal face holder so we can set up the height correctly. Now you move the pedal face holder up and down until the holes line up directly with the holes for the pedal face. Now you tighten that pedal face holder right here, and then you can secure the longer pedal face using those screws right here. And that's how easy it is to change the entire appearance of our throttle pedal so it suits your heel and toe technique needs and also adds your side support. The longer pedal face is available only on the racing and bedroom variant. The last thing I'll show you how to adjust is the travel of the pedal. We do that by moving the bump stop to one of these 3 holes, and it's respective for one of the 3 travel options. We have 35mm, 58mm, and 75mm or thereabouts. So first of all, you need to remove the bolt and the nut that hold the bump stop. Then you take out the bolt, hold on to the rubber hose, move it up to, for example, the 2nd position, reinsert the bolt, push it through to the other side, and screw the nut back on. Now you really don't want to use much force, just make sure that the nut sits nicely against the steel plate. And that's how you adjust the travel on the throttle. Let's move on to the last pedal, which is the clutch pedal. Alright, so on the clutch pedal we can adjust the preload pretty much the same way as on the throttle. We can swap in a stiffer spring. We can put the axes in the stiffer position just like on the throttle as well. And we can change the tilt and the pedal face height much like on the other pedals. So the only thing left to show on the clutch pedal is how to swap out the spring. So let's get into that. First of all, we need to get rid of that pre-tension in the spring. So we loosen the counter nut again, roll it to the pedal and unwind the spring. Now we loosen the counter nut near the joint itself, so the rod is free. And now we simply untwist the entire rod out of the pedal. Now that the rod is free, we can take it out, swap in a stiffer spring, and put it back in. Screw it back to the joint, secure the joint with the nut, and introduce some pre-tension to the spring, securing it again with the counter nut. And that's it. All of the other adjustments like the travel, speaking about the travel, you set it up the same way as on the throttle. However, the Alien clutch pedal acts just like the real clutch with that drop-in force, push-through effect of a real clutch. But some people like their clutch pretty much linear. You can achieve that on the Alien clutch pedal as well by limiting the travel to the shortest or medium position. Alright, so those were all of the adjustment options on our Alien sim racing pedal set. If you're not sure about some of these steps, feel free to leave us a comment and we will try to help you out. If we've caught your interest, visit our website to find out more. Thank you for watching and keep your alien steady pace.